Hello and welcome to this new forest talk. So today I wanted to kind of talk about Pepe the Frog and our collective journey. I don't know. I've been like I used to be pretty deep into all of this stuff, Pepe the Frog, and all of the stuff going on, the memes and all kinds of different things like that. And really felt like making a video on that. I have here my little notebook with. I'll take my gloves off for the time being, so I can't open my notebook. Okay, so in my notebook I'd written down a few pages of notes. So well, let's see, what have I written down? Jordan Peterson. So in 2016, it's a long time ago, it's a very long time ago, Jordan Peterson and Jonathan Pageau made a video called The Metaphysics of Pepe, in which they talked about Pepe the Frog, and they specifically brought up the story of the princess and the frog in that video, and already back then it already called out to me, and I talked to some people about it, or tried to talk about it at least, and it's what gave rise to another video from a dormant dynasty, it's called like that now, which he did something with regards to that. And well, back then I didn't really know what I knew now, so kind of was like fumbling in the dark myself back then. And in that sense, I want to like look back and talk about this in a manner that like maybe would put things in a grander perspective than, like being so sucked up in the whole drama, because I've been myself for some time outside of all of this stuff, so it gave me some time to gather my thoughts on all of this. So have you also written about the princess specifically? And the story about the princess and the frog is that the princess, she has this golden ball, and she goes to the she ventures outside of the castle, and she plays with this golden ball, and this golden ball is, as Jordan Peterson and Jonathan Pageau pointed out, the most important thing, the thing of the highest value within society. And she drops it, and it falls into the pond, and then she cries, and the frog is like, "Oh, I can retrieve it for you," and she doesn't really feel like the frog can, and she promises the frog all kinds of things, and then the frog succeeded. The frog succeeds in it, and he brings the golden ball back, and then there's a whole story that comes after, and this pond, the bottom of it is not visible. It's not like It's not like something you just wade in and you can just retrieve the ball and that's that. No, it's very, very deep. And really what this is a symbol for is it's the waters of chaos, the collective unconscious, the unconscious itself. Well, in a personal sense, I guess you could put it too. And that's where it falls into. And it is somewhere beyond the murky shadow. And I think at the time, like, it kind of like that ball got dropped again. It's like, maybe I don't think it's anyone's fault really. I just think it's more just that there's all these distractions and all these things happening that yeah, it got kind of dropped. There are people that have been going after it, definitely, but like on a grander scale, like, yeah, it kind of got dropped, and like the process is not completely happening yet, but there are plenty of people who have done so, and you can see that also playing out in like the grander mythological story that's playing out in the West. You know, coming back to the golden ball for Jordan Peterson and Jonathan Pageau, the golden ball represented the sun and logos, and I'm not so sure about it that the golden ball that's there in the shadow actually is just that. It's just logos. That's it. I think there's more to it. And yeah, I want to take you along here in this video on like an exploration of really what I've come to understand of what it might actually be. You know, then also to add to it, like, you know, in Jungian terms, the princess could be seen from the perspective of the frog as the anima, the relating function, and the social aspects of society. The story itself also is a story when read for children and younger people. It's a story about maturation, about self-actualization. You know, and in the end of the story, when they come and when the frog turns into a prince, it's also about the integration back into society, into the kingdom. That's where they go, into the kingdom, and that has been constructed. And that's where they go. They go into the kingdom that has been constructed. And what I kind of feel is that what has been left out of all of this is kind of the part of what the frog does by going into the shadow. And you know, because if you leave that out, then and all of that, what that entails, it's kind of like you're just wondering, like, well, how am I supposed to find the golden ball? How am I supposed to even return it? And what does all this mean? So how can we play this story out? So now to the shadow, you know, and going into the shadow and the unconscious. That's in mythology often connected to either a hero or some upper world deity going into the shadow, into the underworld. It's often portrayed as, and they do that to retrieve, a quest object, rescue a loved one, or find the elixir of life. And in Arthurian myth, the Holy Grail represents exactly that. Now, Jordan Peterson and Jonathan Pageau back then also said something about like the snitch, and there's something in the snitch, and he said it was Voldemort, and but it wasn't. It was the Resurrection Stone. Even though those are like, you could make like, yeah, there are associations that have come up, but they're I feel associations that are valid in that sense, because they shed some more light on what that is, what that golden ball is. And there's something important to understand here too about like those mythological deities and those demigods and all those heroes going into the underworld. And it is that, especially the deities, they're often linked to so my hands were getting a bit cold, but coming back to this now, the hero or the upper world deity who goes in mythology into the underworld, into the unconscious, you could say, they have a special link and association with vegetation deities. Now you might wonder, like, well, why does that matter? And it is because, just as the frog, they are specifically symbols connected to the concept of fertility. As the frog in of itself is too. And with those like deities, I mean, you can just think of like the Green Man or Dionysus when it comes to that, to like give you more of an understanding of what that represents, and what it represents of what they bring back. Because they're for instance, Dionysus goes into the underworld to rescue his mortal mother, for instance. And the thing is that these objects, these people are in some sense anima related things, so they're related to the anima, and in that sense it's related to eros and not just logos. And now you might ask, like, oh, what about Pepe? And Pepe at the time was associated with Kek, by those people that created well, they didn't really create the meme, but like it got associated with it, Kek, an old Egyptian deity. And that Egyptian deity was a deity of primordial darkness, and was also called the bringer in of the light. And in that sense, there's something important to understand with regarding to Kek and the other deities connected to the what the Egyptians called the Ogdoad. Because the Ogdoad of Hermopolis is connected to deities linked to they're linked to primeval existence before creation. And then Kek represents the bringer in of the light. So it implies something that comes after this chaos. So below Kek and Kekuit, that's the oh, I'm not there. The wind is just like, just hurry up, and I'm like, no. So below Kek and Kekuit is Amun and Amunet, and their name means the hidden one, but what Amun is connected with is, well, he's the god of wind, and then in that sense it's very easy to connect that to the life breath, and in that sense it's why he came to be identified with Ra as a solar deity, but also Min as a creation and fertility deity, because they are symbols of life, symbols of the essence of life. And and in this combination of those different deities, which became Amun Ra, became linked to Zeus in Greece. That's how the Greek saw this Amun Ra figure. And they also said that all gods are three: Amun, Ra, and Ptah. He who hides his name as Amun, he appears to the face as Ra. His body is Ptah. They represent different aspects of life. The breath, the sun itself, but also the material, this body. Ptah was embodied in the sacred bull, in the Apis bull. And there's something interesting about the Apis bull, and it is that he occasionally was depicted with a sun disk between his horns, which was actually a symbol of his mother, Hathor. And there is also an Ankh symbol connected to this, which is in of itself a symbol of life. And Apis as a manifestation of Ptah, and it being connected to Amun and Ra as well, became a symbol of something more than just fertility. It became a symbol of kingship, a symbol of the king. And for the Egyptians, it was a symbol of the courageous heart, great strength, and fighting spirit of the king. And in that sense, the bringing back of the golden ball is not bringing back just logos, as in logos connected to, I guess, the sense of order and in some just some actual mental or theological some other realm kind of shit, because it is about bringing back. It is about bringing back the essence of life into society. It is about bringing back the essence of life into society, into culture, and in ourselves. You know, to revive through that culture and tradition. You know, to have that balance between Horus on the one hand and Osiris on the other. Horus being the new lifeblood, and Osiris representing the old, the traditions. You know, and the thing is that if you don't have Horus, so this you could say it lifeblood, the life, the eros, energy. What you get is decay, civilization decays, and you get Seth, the tyrant ruler. And there's something important to point out here too, and that is that, with regards to Horus, that Horus was seen as the son of truth, and the upholder of justice and harmony. And that's a very important thing right there with regards to that. Is like he wasn't just Logos, he was Logos and Eros. So in that sense, Kek represented for us, ourselves and the collective, an invitation into the underworld, into the shadow, to face the dragon and retrieve the golden ball, to retrieve the essence of vitality. And that's the inward hero's journey. You know, it's not about like going out there and vanquishing something evil and oh yeah, that's what we're going to do. But it's the inward journey. It's individuation, and it was a call towards that. And I feel that we kind of lost sight of that. Not all of us. There's plenty of people that are doing that. And the thing is that I kind of feel like there should have been more. I don't know, like more focused on it, more highlighting its importance. In that sense, with the hero's journey, with the hero archetype, it's about, you know, like returning with the elixir of life, and really what that means is to return to one's true feelings and one's unique potential in like psychological terms. And it's not just that, but it's about creating a well-established ego consciousness as well. You know, to mobilize our energy, or our will, our power, to break free from unconscious forces. And in that sense, what that represents is to break free from the bond with the mother, the tribe, like an unconscious bond. I mean, in that sense, to form a conscious bond with it. And it's not about going into the shadow. It's not about being a Giga Chad or something, or like and all kinds of things like that, because it's more of an obsession with the hero archetype than really than really doing it, because all of that Giga Chat stuff and the posturing and all of that stuff is just how more manly we're trying to act outwardly as like our persona, how more internally we become more feminine, more maiden-like in nature. There needs to be that proper balance of both within us, and really, like, I guess, be ourselves, not some forced act that we hide behind. And then also about logos and eros in balance. This is something that I came across because I was really looking into the golden ball, Pepe, and all kinds of things like that. And I then happened to come across something that's called they call it the divine twins, but really what it is about is it's like a old Indo-European mythological theme, really. What it is about, it's about, in that sense, it's youthful horsemen, or sometimes not, just twin warrior healer types that go into the underworld to rescue the sun, which is really like the a symbol for both the divine feminine and eros, to bring back life, to rescue that out of the underworld and bring it back to the world, to revitalize the world again. So both of them they're differentiated in the fact that one is a warrior and then the other a healer, but not always. It's not always so clear cut. So one can really say that one is more connected to war and hunting, and the other is more connected to society and peace. And for the Romans, Mars was also this outward pointed deity. He was connected to war, and he represented the martial aspects of society, and King Romulus was connected to Mars, and what kind of has been forgotten and sadly so, and is another deity, which is actually very obscure, and that one is called Quirinus. Quirinus being linked to King Numa, and what Quirinus was about was the civil aspects of society, and those were divided in those two different deities, overseeing those two different things, connected to these two different kings. You can see that Mars is connected to discipline, will, where Quirinus is more associated with the harmonious aspects and the social fabric. And there was a reason why Mars was outside the city and not really was meant to be for inside of it. There's that division, because there was a division of domains, because that's a division of balance, like who rules what. So in that sense, when Julius Caesar brought the troops in and did what all he did, he broke religious taboo, and that's kind of like, yeah, what happened, because he crossed that line between Mars and Quirinus. But Quirinus at that time started to like fade more and more into like forgottenness, sadly, even for the Romans. And both, like Amun-Ra, are also connected to kingship and fertility. Quirinus, like Amun-Ra, he was also connected to the highest, as king, but also connected to the lowest, to the lowest in society and the outcasts, because in his in the feast that were being held, and in a certain one, I don't remember which one it was, but there was one that you had some deities and things linked to different castes, and if you didn't have one, then you belonged to you could do it something but regarding to Quirinus. But he was also at the same time connected to kingship too. Odin as well had this dual role between king, being connected to kingship, but also outcast, in that sense being connected to it as well. There's like a connection between like the center and that what's surrounds it, the circumference. So the king archetype, like, what is it then connected to when it comes to like these deities in like a psychological sense? Well, it's connected to embracing confidence. It's connected to purpose, well-being, and in that sense, give oneself a sense of balance, and also healthy boundaries for oneself, psychological boundaries. And in that sense also proper structures. And the king doesn't just create structures for himself to flourish, but he creates structures for the whole to flourish. But now, like, looking at everything what has been going on and what is kind of going on still, I kind of feel like there are three myths really playing out right now. You have on a higher level, and you could call it the hierarchical structural level, and that's like connected to like politics too, and all kinds of different like structures and things we've built. There's that myth of Kronos and Zeus playing out, and that's really a myth of Kronos being this tyrant. He he overthrew his father, the sky god Uranus, and then he swallowed all of his children. And then Zeus, with the help of a guy and his mother, managed to escape, and that kind of allowed for consciousness to challenge Kronos, because Kronos is really the forces of unconsciousness, and really the force that wants to keep everything unconscious, shackled to himself, so he's in control. But then Zeus, he represents consciousness, light, and well, you could say truth, maybe. In a modern sense, I would kind of like connect that to it. Maybe in an older mythological sense, maybe not, but to guess look at it from a more modern lens, that might not be as accurate to the old myth, but to give it a more modern interpretation regarding the times that we're dealing with. And then the thing is that Kronos, the reason why he swallowed up consciousness is, like to like I said, stay in control, and it's because he has a fear that if consciousness is allowed to rise and emerge, that it would not challenge him, and he would lose his power. But then, there's another level to this too, and that's the third and that's the social level to it, and that's the story of the princess and the frog, and that's that story of maturation, and I guess the giving back the golden ball to society, to the anima, and it's about, like, I guess that first all the social aspect of all of this. It's like everyone in some sense going into the shadow and retrieving a bit of that golden ball, and helping bringing it back to bring more of that life essence back into the world, and really, like, create the proper healthy structure too. That's, in the sense, it's like we are all, in that sense, like following the frog down into the pond after the golden ball, and it's the hero's journey, and that's like the level below it. It's the personal level, and in that sense, we're all the frog, and we're all giving a piece of that life essence back, and it's what keeps society alive, and keeps it from decaying, and can revitalize it too. In that sense, how I could look at it from this larger or like higher perspective, or however you could call it, is that that there's this hero's journey needed to do the shadow work, the individuation, to free consciousness from the hold of the tyrant Kronos. And in a sense, for ourselves, it's about having this vital life force aligned with our own free will, with our own consciousness, to have logos and eros aligned and working together for us and what we want to see in the world, the good things, the proper healthy structure, instead of giving up this life force towards Chronos and towards that structure. And I have here some more notes. I have plenty of notes. I have here written individuation, hero, emerging consciousness. And that's what it is about. It's about breaking free, and it's about the emerging of consciousness, to be a free conscious individual within the culture, within society. And not just shackled to forces of unconsciousness, may it be Chronos, an ideology, addictions, all kinds of stuff, to free ourselves of these things. That we're not, at least this is not enslaved to these things. Then I've written here, seeker, search for the self. And another thing is the seeker is connected to, like I wrote, finding the self. But the seeker does this in the sense of exploring and to find out who you are, instead of the following along with the persona and all kinds of things and the social trends and all kinds of things. Find out who you are. That's what the seeker is about. It's about also raising consciousness within ourselves about things that are within us, within ourselves, behaviors that we do, shadow things maybe more. It's never really over in that sense, but we it's about raising consciousness, so to become more and more free in that sense, freed from all kinds of things that we end up shackled towards. It's I also have here written, it's also about truth, wisdom, and independence. And that's kind of really, I guess, finding out who am I, and that you're independent from all those things that would just I guess break free from the persona and that image, and not take that so I don't know, like it's everything, the persona, and that's who you are. But the seeker is often also associated with Artemis and feminine, a feminine archer type, lining up her bow and she's kind of doing her own thing, and she's connected to the forest and the wild beasts and things outside of society. And I don't know, you can connect the Spartans to it, being thrown out into the wilderness and surviving and stuff like that. But it's it's about it's breaking that. It's about kind of still breaking that bond and finding out who you are outside of all the other shit that is being told. Then I have here a next one written, lover. So the lover is about connection and creation, and it's about something that a lot of people are afraid of. Intimacy and vulnerability, being vulnerable. A lot of, especially as men, we're afraid of being vulnerable. It's like, oh God, it's like it's a sign of weakness in a lot of, I guess, Giga Chad's eyes, or like, I'm this tough dude, but like, it's not necessarily, it's not weak to be able to be vulnerable. It's more about, when are you vulnerable, when do you have your boundaries up and protect yourself, because the world isn't all rainbows either. There's dark stuff in the world and all that stuff. Things you have to protect yourself from. But it's about finding that balance, like knowing who you can be vulnerable with, and who you can't, and where you can't be vulnerable, and where you have to protect yourself. It's a kind of like creation, maybe also kind of in some sense creating that space for yourself, that space where you can be vulnerable. And it's also linked to like vital energy, to, again, the lover, but creative energy, and that doesn't really have to be just like making babies, for instance. And it doesn't have to be so biological. It can be really artistic too, in the sense of art and really creating things of beauty. Then I've here written equal, building relationships. And that's not necessarily just like building relationships, making friends. Like I'm like I don't know, like you're young or something, and like yeah I'm making friends. It's about building lasting relationships, and really relationships where you can be authentically yourself. It's about authenticity, being authentic, and still being able to be around people, working towards that. And then warrior, and you have the hero, and then you have the warrior, and the warrior, it's about mastering our energies, to know how to use them, when to release our energies, when to pull them back, and that we don't overuse them. The hero archetype doesn't really know a limit. It doesn't know. It's not good when it comes to things like death and knowing its limits. The warrior is, because the warrior has experienced such things and knows its limits. And I've written here also creative destruction, death, life, revitalization. And that's in that sense, it's about really destroying the old things that don't work anymore, habits that harm life, and things that harm life, and making way for life to flourish. And but not in like a in some, like, I don't know, weird, twisted, mad Joker way or something. But no, it's like it's about discipline, about self-control, and understanding one's limits, and about like changing behaviors and habits, and how we do things in a personal, but also maybe collective manner, to find ways to do things that bring life instead of death, and bring revitalization instead of decay. It's getting darker. Then I have written magician, channeling our inner power. Channel power for the good of all. Sees patterns within chaos. Uses this for good. And that's, in that sense, that's about really getting to know yourself and to get to know your inner archetypes and to know like how to tap into the different energies and tap into that and use it for something good and constructive instead of something for instance something bad. It's like the creative energy, like you can use it in all kinds of different manners, but it's about really channeling that power for something which is good and is connected to something that is life affirming and is connected to beauty and things that are good. Then boundaries and structure, confidence, purpose, that's the king. Well-being, psychological boundaries, embodiment, structure for the whole to flourish. And that's the final goal, and that's really like once we get there, we get to that point. It's about building the structures ourselves, the healthy structures. It's not about like in that sense. Yeah, it's doing it for ourselves to build those healthy structures for ourselves, our community, the people we care about, and to make things that are healthy and not wait on other things. Because the thing is, like we can keep pushing our energy into things that we see as corrupt, or we can be like, well, we're going to use this energy to create something that we see as healthy and is connected to life and will bring more life and more beauty into this world. Here's something. Then I have here also personal level, the descent into the underworld. Well, that's the hero's journey, individuation, and that's kind of really what I also talked about already about that part. And it's yeah, that's really that. And it's quite yeah, self-explanatory at this point. It's about going into the shadow and freeing ourselves. That's the hero archetype. So now, really to rephrase this, it's I guess it's about first freeing ourselves, becoming conscious individuals within society, working on ourselves, going through the process of individuation. To work ourselves to the level of king, to force us to create the healthy structures, and good in a very simple manner. You can think about like Jordan Peterson and clean your room in a simple manner. It's a small act, you know. But it's about all of these small acts piling up, and we all together creating healthy structure. And if we keep doing that, creating healthy structure, standing with truth and with life, we can we can really challenge the unhealthy structure. In that sense, without really having to do anything like, oh, we have to fight, we have to kill these people or any other shit. Because the thing is, the moment we start to go down that path, we're one step away from just replacing evil with evil. Because both Jung but also Tolkien, they kind of saw that as like evil being this eye looking outward, projecting everything onto the world and never looking inward. not all thinking evil is out there and I'm destroying it, because all of these men are fallen, like Saruman was saying, and stuff like that. But they ended up fucking evil themselves, So, and with regards to Pepper the Frog, it was an invitation, and I'm here, I guess, reminding everyone of it. To take that leap into the pond, and help us bring back that ball. Bring back that which brings life to civilization, to society, to the world. To bring back that which contains beauty, and we do that by building healthy structures. Not stuff that I am the boss and you're doing what I'm saying. No, we work together. It's about cooperation. And then I have here some final notes. And this societal journey is about healing afflictions of the individual and in the community. And I wrote here, this is the work of the shaman. And that's the good. Some people say like Carl Jung was like a modern day shaman, and in that sense, we can tap into that ourselves, and be for ourselves that like, tap into our own inner healer and our own inner shaman, and together heal the afflictions not only of the individual but of society, of the community. And really what it is about is it's about bringing us back to a healthy societal myth, something that's infused with life. It's connected to life. It's connected to the natural world, embedded in the biosphere, and it's connected to beauty, to the good things, to beautiful art and all kinds of things that are beautiful, life affirming, and lift us all up, and really give us that sense of like I want to contribute to this, instead of feeling like oh God, this society is horrible, I don't want to contribute to any of this, because that's sadly like how a lot of people feel. And the thing is that the reason for that is that our societal myth has become sick. It's not connected to life anymore. There's not this essence of life anymore. It has become just dead, empty structures, a dehumanized husk, and that's what people feel. It doesn't matter on what political side you think you are. It's like we can feel this, and it's time to bring back that to bring back that light of this aliveness again, to breathe new life into our culture, our traditions, our civilization. And it doesn't have to be a big thing at all. It's all the small things that add up. It's the small things, man, that add up to something much bigger. And together we can do it. We can take one hop at a time, and stand together with life, with truth, beauty, and the things that are good in this life. And yeah, and lift ourselves up out of this together as a community. But yeah, I have to probably find a way out of this thick of the forest. I kind of like got in, kind of somewhere deep, but yeah, I don't really know like where I'm at right now. Somewhere deep or off path. I'm somewhere close to the river, the highway, but yeah. But I hope that like this video still was nice to I guess watch, because I've been looking at the book a bit like too and stuff, but I don't know. I guess I must say I was kind of nervous and a bit like trying to get things right, to really say everything, and yeah, it's like I know these things. I've written this the entire thing down as like a bit like a script, just like that, and all of that things, and like yeah, it's just maybe a bit nervous talking about all these things. To get it right, not to forget something. But yeah. But yeah, I should probably end it here.